Crystals have fascinated humans for thousands of years. Walk into almost any store today and you'll see them everywhere, from necklaces, meditation tools, home decor, or even sitting on people's desks as energy boosters. Some people swear these stones can heal emotional wounds, protect them from negativity, or even attract love and success. But here's the real question. What actually are crystals? How do they form deep inside the earth? Why do certain crystals grow in specific parts of the world? And where did the idea come from that these beautiful minerals could influence our energy or health? In this video, we're going to break down the real science behind crystals, explore where some of the most famous ones on Earth are found, and dig into the history behind the healing claims that made crystals explode in popularity today. Part 1. What crystals actually are. At the most basic level, crystals are minerals whose atoms are arranged in a highly ordered repeating pattern. Think of it like a perfectly organized three-dimensional grid built atom by atom over thousands or even millions of years. This structured atomic pattern is what gives crystals their distinct shapes, flat faces, and geometric symmetry. Most crystals form in one of three natural ways. Number 1, cooling magma deep underground. When molten rock cools slowly beneath the Earth's surface, atoms have time to organize themselves into structured patterns. This process forms many well-known crystals like quartz, amethyst, and citrine. The slower the cooling process, the larger and more defined the crystals can grow. Number 2 is evaporation of mineral-rich water. Some crystals form when water filled with dissolved minerals slowly evaporates. As the water disappears, the minerals are left behind and begin bonding into crystals. This is how crystals like halite, rock salt, or selenite form. Number 3 is high pressure and heat inside the earth. Deep underground, intense pressure and temperature can transform existing minerals into new crystalline structures. This process is responsible for stones like jade and certain types of garnet. The key things to understand is that crystals are not rare magical objects. They are a natural result of geology and chemistry working together over long periods of time, which some would consider very magical. But what is incredible is how different environments create completely different crystals. So why do certain crystals grow in certain places? Crystals grow where the right minerals, pressure, temperature, and time all exist together. That's why different regions of the world are famous for specific crystals. Brazil and Uruguay create amethyst. Large deposits of amethyst form in volcanic rock called basalt. Millions of years ago, gas bubbles trapped in cooling lava created hollow cavities called geodes. Mineral-rich water filled these spaces and slowly grew purple quartz crystals along the walls. Some of the largest amethyst geodes ever discovered, big enough to stand inside, come from Brazil. Now, places like Madagascar and India have high rose quartz. Rose quartz forms in pegmatite rock, a type of igneous rock that cools extremely slowly underground. These slow conditions allow massive crystals to grow, although rose quartz often forms in cloudy clusters rather than sharp points. Now in the United States, the state of Arkansas, they create a lot of clear quartz. Arkansas is home to some of the purest quartz deposits in the world. These formed when hot mineral water moved through cracks in the Earth's crust, leaving behind layers of crystals over time. Quartz is actually one of the most abundant minerals on Earth, which is why it's used not only in jewelry, but also in many electronics like watches and computers. Now in Brazil and Africa, black tourmaline. Tourmaline grows in environments rich in boron, an element that helps create the crystal's complex structure. It often forms in long, striated columns and can appear in nearly every color imaginable. Black tourmaline specifically forms when iron concentrations are high during crystal growth. Now on to China, which creates a lot of jade. Jade is extremely tough and forms under intense pressure in subduction zones, where tectonic plates collide. This durability made it one of the earliest stones used by ancient civilizations for tools and weapons before metalworking became common. Over in Russia, Chile, and the Congo, malachite. Malachite forms when copper deposits interact with water and carbon dioxide near the Earth's surface. That's why malachite is almost always found near ancient copper mines. Over in Afghanistan, a large amount of lapis lazuli. One of the oldest gemstones used by humans, lapis lazuli, has been mined in Afghanistan for over 6,000 years. Ancient Egyptians ground it into powder to create the famous pigment ultramarine, which was once more valuable than gold. So where did crystal healing beliefs come from? The idea that crystals hold special powers didn't start on social media or modern wellness blogs. These beliefs go back thousands of years. Ancient Egyptians used stones like lapis lazuli and turquoise as protective amulets. They believed the stones carried divine energy connected to their gods. Ancient Greeks believed amethyst could prevent intoxication. In fact, the word amethyst comes from the Greek word amathostos, meaning not drunk. That's a funny one. In Chinese traditions, associated jade with balance, protection, and immortality. In Indian traditions, gemstones were sometimes connected to the body's energy centers or chakras. However, it's important to understand something. As of now, there is no specific scientific evidence that crystals emit healing energies capable of curing illness or changing life outcomes. What science does show is that crystals have stable atomic structures, which is why some of them are used in advanced technologies like quartz in watches and electronics, silicon crystals in computer chips, and piezoelectronic crystals that convert pressure into electricity. Which, if you ask me, that's pretty damn magical. So why do people still feel effects from crystals, when even though science hasn't confirmed any sort of healing powers? But many people still report feeling calmer, more focused, or emotionally supported when using crystals. Psychologists often explain it being the placebo effect, which is when people believe an object helps them focus, relax, or heal, and that belief alone can influence their mindset and behavior. For example, holding rose quartz while focusing on self-love might encourage someone to practice mindfulness or positive thinking, which can genuinely improve emotional well-being. So while the crystal itself may not be emitting healing energy, the ritual and intention around it can still have real psychological benefits. Now let's talk about the crystals that everyone talks about, which we've already spoke about a lot in this video. We're just going to confirm a few of what they feel and what they're known for. Amethyst is often linked to calmness, intuition, and protection from negative thinking. Rose quartz, traditionally connected with love, compassion, and emotional healing. Clear quartz, sometimes called the master crystal, because it's believed to amplify energy or intentions. Black tourmaline, associated with protection and grounding. Citron is linked to prosperity and positive energy. Labradorite, known for its shimmering color, flashes and associated with transformation and creativity. Selenite, often used symbolically for cleansing spaces or other crystals. Malachite, connected to emotional growth and protection. Jade, historically symbolized harmony, longevity, and wealth. And lapis lazuli, associated with truth, wisdom, and inner peace. These meanings mostly come from cultural traditions, symbolism, and modern wellness interpretations, rather than scientific measurement. So, crystals are one of the most incredible natural creations on Earth, formed through volcanic heat, shifting tectonic plates, and mineral-rich water moving through the planet's crust. They are the result of geological processes that can take millions of years. And while science doesn't support the idea that crystals hold supernatural healing powers, their beauty, rarity, and cultural history have made them meaningful to people across civilizations. In a way, the real magic of crystals isn't mystical energy, it's the story they tell about our planet, our history, and the way humans have always searched for meaning in the natural world. And honestly, to me, that's a bit more fascinating.